to build up to that. I'm not saying I did it in day one, but I did. For a long time, I questioned why I felt like this. Is it because I'm a bad parent? But I had to go through a lot of shit in my 20s, like even until I started the business at 34. It was like a 10-year, like almost transformation that nobody sees. They'll see me launch the business and confident.
Yeah.
And actually, I did a lot of work behind the scenes before I got to that stage.
Welcome to the Balanced Ambition podcast. I'm your host, Matt Southam. Here, we delve into candid conversations with entrepreneurs, exploring both their business journey and their secrets to maintaining mental well-being. As we navigate the balance of ambition and inner peace, I hope you find insights, inspiration, and invaluable takeaways in every episode. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Francesca. Welcome to the show today. Let's kick off just so we can all learn a little bit more about you. Give me some context to how you got to where you are today.
First of all, hello to all that's listening. And I really appreciate you asking me to come on because I've been putting it off for a while, but there's some pointers for that and there's reasons behind that. So how far back shall I go? Let me start off with, in a brief overview, I had two kids quite young. So when I say young, 21 when I gave birth to my daughter, well, just 2 weeks into my 21st birthday, after my 21st birthday, and then my son at 24. And I had no career. And I thought back then I was just going to be kind of a stay-at-home mum, but doing like a bit of a part-time job, like an easy tickle along. I say easy, no job's easy, but like retail or something that I can see people and go home and just enjoy the kids. But what I noticed was I didn't really like being at home with the kids. It drained me. Like I thought, is this what it's meant to be? Like I love the kids, but I also love learning and I love being around people more than, and I actually wanted to grow a career, but I didn't know how. And I put myself down a lot. I'm from the background of my family. So my mum was more the stay at home. She had a little tickle-on job, and my dad was the one that worked. And then you got told you find a rich man because the Italian side of the family used to do that. I don't see my dad now, and that's another story. But with that in mind, I suppose that's why I had kids young. My mum had kids young. And I thought I'd be married young. And what I did was had two toxic relationships, thought I could fix them when I got warned off. Oh, no, they go out drinking a lot. No, it'll be fine. And I thought, oh, I can fix them. It'll be fine with me because I love talking.
A little project.
When I look back, I just need to be fixed myself. That was the issue. And it wasn't until probably I started looking into what I want to do. And what I decided was, while working at a dentist on reception, I liked looking into the business side of things with the dentist. I started asking a lot of questions and I love the idea of helping people and businesses. And I thought about, why can't I be an accountant? And what my thought was, everyone needs an accountant. That's not going to die a death anytime soon.
No.
And I thought, I'm more of a people's person, so this could work well because I get told a lot, accountants are stuffy and boring and expensive, and that's that. And they don't tell you anything anyway. They just make you pay tax. With that in mind, I started going back to college at 26 with my kids being really young, and I loved it. I absolutely loved learning and realised that I could do more than what I allowed myself to believe. I got quite good GCSEs as well. I probably could have done better now. I know in hindsight that I was probably around the wrong kind of people, but I was quite geeky at school. And I put myself down a lot at school as well, to be honest. It's all about yourself. And what I did at 26 was stopped going out drinking, saved my money like mad, and I ended up buying my first house at 29 and graduating from doing my AT studies for 3 years. And roll forward now, I'm now a director and trustee of the AET, which was like, even that, just saying it sends shivers down me, like how far I've come in that time frame, in 13 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a transformation, along those lines. You said you had to fix yourself. And do you think with business owners, is there a mindset block on what we can achieve?
Yeah. I think any business owner, it's definitely a self-belief. you've got to have a good product or service. I get that, but it's a lot of it is self-belief and believing. Do you believe in your own business and what you can offer? Do you believe in you as a person, and how you live your life behind the scenes has a massive impact on how you deliver your business. And I do believe in that. And the fact, so what happened after I studied and graduated, I had to really push to get my job. I really want to work in practice because experience is everything.
Yeah.
I don't think your exams and studies are everything, but experience is. So when I finally got my dream job, it took me 2 attempts. And the only reason why I got in is because I know someone that got me in, and it's who you know. And that made me think about network. I thought, well, hang on a minute. It's not what you know, it's actually who you know. And the more you can get on with people, the better. So when I joined the old-fashioned accountancy firm that was like top 30 at the time, I asked to go networking pretty quickly, and I wasn't confident. That's the hardest few years of my life was going networking every Friday, last Friday of the month. No, every first Friday of the month at 7 a.m. I'd be there, and I'd pack the kids off the night before if I have to because they were young. Best thing I did, because those people drove me and helped me in my business later on, like when I started up 6 years later.
Yeah, I mean, building up a network is key. And actually, you mentioned that, maybe could have done better at school, but you were hanging around with the wrong people. Yeah, in your business, you realise actually I need to hang around with the right people to grow the business. Yeah. And, there is the saying that we're the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Yeah. And all of that leads back to, I guess, your mindset, because it's what you're being influenced by.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the thing is, you get told you're sad. Oh, you're not going out drinking, you're boring. You're sad for staying in to read a book. You're sad to do this, sad to do that. And it's definitely the environment you're living in and what you've put yourself in, the circles you surround yourself by. That had a massive factor. And when I stopped drinking and I got told I was boring, it really made me anxious at the time. But I was so on this pathway that I wanted to do better in myself. I'm laughing now to those people that said, especially my ex-boyfriend, who's the father of my second child. I'll never forget when I rang him and said, to let you know, I'm going to have extra day going to college to study for my accounting degree. And he actually laughed and said, oh God, what's the point? It's going to take you years. And I was like, yeah, I know. Well, and it was that. And I actually did think to myself, yeah, is there any point? Because a lot of people, when they get told it's going to take you 3 years to build your body and really be muscly, they're never going to do it if you get told that, are you?
No.
You've just got to do it step by step. So I had to really push through the noise, Why don't you be at home with the kids more? And he was very much like, oh, you're always off doing stuff without Luca sort of thing. And it's that I had to just push through that, because at times I believed in it. I believed, am I a bad parent because I want a career? Because I'm the mum.
Yeah, that's a tricky one with your identity. And I think a lot of parents struggle with it. Possibly, mums slightly more because of just that cultural thing that it's mums. And maybe I'm not in a position to say that, but that's just my general feeling. But even, as a dad, I love my kids. I love time with my kids, but I'm more than that. I need to be me as well. And I need, whether it's work, hobbies, I need things that are for me as well, because actually they keep me happy and keep me going. And therefore I can be happy when I'm spending time with the kids rather than just moping about.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's almost like I allowed myself to be selfish, and I felt selfish because I was around people in my 20s that did all the stay-at-home mum stuff, did all the cutting, sticking, I'll just do this, I'll do my 16 hours a week job and claim tax credits and look after my kids. And that is great for them. I tried to do that, but I didn't feel right. I wanted to get off tax credits, believe it or not. Why? I wanted to achieve more. I wanted to be like the dad version of a woman as such. Why? You know what I mean? I did.
Yeah.
I'm a single parent. Why can't I work full time? And I had to build up to that. I'm not saying I did it in day one, but I did. For a long time, I questioned why I felt like this. Is it because I'm a bad parent? But I had to go through a lot of shit in my 20s. And even until I started the business at 34, it was like a 10-year, almost transformation. that nobody sees. They'll see me launch the business and confident.
Yeah.
And actually, I did a lot of work behind the scenes before I got to that stage.
Yeah, there's a couple of bits I want to pick up on there. You know, we're talk about that journey, but firstly, do you feel that, you know, women and mums have it harder from that thing of, is it, expected that the woman stays at home with the kids, the man goes out to work, and even though actually that barrier has been broken down, it
Yeah.
is sort of, it's almost like an invisible barrier, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
A
No,
mindset barrier.
definitely. Definitely. And even some of the dads would say it's easy for the mum to stay at home. And I get that. Or the cost of childcare. So one of you have got to do it. I also think in the future, the dad can stay at home. That might be happening more than the woman going out, which will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Or it's 50-50. So you both
Yeah.
go to work, and that's okay too.
Well,
But
you're both parents, aren't you? You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing, and it's trying to find that balance. But
Yeah.
you said there you launched the business, you were confident and things like that. And again, people don't see that journey. And you commented there about, you know, 3 years to build up some muscle and things like that. You know, things don't happen overnight. We get
Yeah.
maybe overnight recognition, but a lot of people don't see the hard work that goes
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
And at times it is like, is this worth it? Because it's very easy to do something just today to give you instant gratification. And we're living in a sort of, a time where we can have everything instantly from,
Yeah.
whether it's a film you want to watch on Netflix or order something from Amazon, it's here tomorrow. We're used to that. But
Yeah.
actually, the big goals in life take time.
Yeah, 100%. Because in my 20s, when I saw business owners speaking on stage, smashing light, I thought, God, it's just like, I must have thought they were born to do it. And you don't realize it until I put myself in it. And that's where I built the journey, I hate that word, but built the journey on LinkedIn about how I did it. And that's why I shared it all to prove you can do much more than you allow yourself to believe, because people don't share the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think lots of us have limiting beliefs on whether that's what we can do, whether that's the amount of money we can earn. I mean, I've heard that from people who have, grown up in poverty, can't get out because it's almost like a fixed mindset of that's how much you can earn.
Yeah.
And, and like you were saying, where you go in your career, what do you do? It is really tricky. I mean, what did you do to get your sort of mindset in the right place to grow then?
God, someone else asked me this, and I actually can't really remember the moment where I thought, I think I just started. Obviously, social media was definitely a thing back then. So when was it that I started back at studying? 2011. I think I just kept myself to myself more as a starting point, and I must have started like looking into things online and reading stuff. I can't really remember where the growth, because I definitely didn't have a growth mindset when I was having the kids. I definitely didn't even think about it. I didn't even know what it was.
Nice.
So it must have been a slow transition, or someone must have said something to me. And I think it's the comment of probably being told you can't, you'll never amount to anything. I remember being told that you're going to be on tax credits forever. Oh, you're going to you're just sponging off the state and all those kind of comments. I don't know if that's something that put a bit of fire. I'll show you. I obviously wanted to do it. Again, it's that confidence for anyone who's a mom. They will be feeling the same when they've had kids. Like, you feel guilty a lot. But now I know guilt comes whatever you do. So you just got to ride the guilt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting time. And actually, you're saying you're not sure when it hit. Actually, like much of these things, it just builds up, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And
build it up.
suddenly you're like, oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
And you see that all the time on those small changes every single day. After a year, you're well ahead. If you want to get into reading, you don't have to read a whole book. Read half the page a day. But a few months later, you'll be like, I've just read that entire book.
Yeah. It's so
and if
true.
you've never read a book before, that's a big thing.
Yeah, that's what people don't think about. They see like the whole 3 year to build your body. They have to read a whole book. Just do stage bit by bit each day, little habit forming. But it's everything I'm saying sounds cliche, because when you hear people on social media taking a mick out of the people that are just coming out from no money to make money, but my story is actually, absolutely genuine. This is the thing. It is. And it cringed me to share that when I made more money than what I was used to. It
Yeah.
cringed me to say I was off tax credits at one point, but I did it to inspire someone else. If they want that goal, make it a goal, make it happen. But it is easier in a way to stay on them because it's safe, but it's dull.
Yeah.
It's dull.
There is that really tricky thing. And I guess there's that fine balance. You want to motivate people, you want to show people they can do more, but equally you don't want to be bragging and showing off
Yeah.
and have, but actually, is it bragging? I guess it depends why you're doing it. If you're
Yeah.
doing it to motivate other people, brilliant. If you're doing it to, put other people down, that's not the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a Porsche now or whatever. It's a fine line, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I mean, I find that on LinkedIn. It's a really interesting space. I'm just starting to use LinkedIn a little bit more,
Yeah.
and I find it an interesting space because
Yeah.
I haven't quite grasped that right middle ground.
Yeah. When I see someone shout about whether it's a car or anything like that, I still think fair play.
Yeah,
And that's the problem with people. If they go, oh, look at them just showing off, that's something internally. So
yeah,
I've learned now that even if I wouldn't post it myself, I wish them well. A guy that's another accountant, he shared that he got his dream car as a kid. I like that story. And I think fair play. I was like,
yeah.
brilliant. And that you have to just, even if it's a bit forced, because otherwise you're limiting yourself to share anything because you're already judging someone else.
Yeah. And very much, there is that thing that, people who are doing better than you don't put people down.
Yeah.
It's in like, it's only people who aren't doing as well will put
Yeah.
you down. And therefore, are you really bothered?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You've got to learn to maybe just brush it off because,
Yeah.
I haven't got time for you. I'm busy doing my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And on LinkedIn, you can create your own feed for the right kind of stuff that you want to see. Same with Instagram. If you don't like
Yep.
something, don't follow it.
No.
Simple as that. But then again, we're all for a bit of drama, aren't we?
It's a real tricky one. I mean, I remember I spoke a while ago about, when we say your diet and you should have a good diet, most people automatically think of the food they put in their body. But equally, the diet of consumption with regard to social media content is
Yeah.
equally as important because that's affecting your mind.
Yeah.
So,
So true. But some people just can't help them. They won't help themselves. But
No.
it's effort. It's because it's effort.
Yeah, and there is still that thing. We see overnight success and things, and it's not overnight success. And we see people doing well, got their car, and we go, "Oh, they're lucky," or they've landed on their
Yeah.
But it's because maybe we don't talk about that journey and all those weeks and months and years of hard graft that have gone into it.
Yeah. That is
Doesn't get spoken about.
so true. Like before this year, like even like as you grow, you've got to remind yourself that you will still feel down and you will still feel not good enough. But then you have to do some steps again to get you out of that mindset. It doesn't vanish. And I've learned that whether I'm earning more or less, there's still that wobble.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. I mean, I'm quite, upfront or I try and be. It's tough because I am a positive person, but I suffer from imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
There's days when, I might be on a coaching call and I sort of think,
Yeah.
hang on, am I in a position to coach someone?
Yeah.
And then I have to sort of try and just look at the evidence and go, well, yeah, I am. And at the end of the session, like, oh, it was really good, Matt. I really enjoyed it, or whatever we've been talking about.
But you're not hearing that still. You're still questioning us.
You're still just questioning yourself. And it's like imposter syndrome can only really be overcome by action, but you've got to fight through it, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. You do. And I try not to. I listened to a podcast to say that this woman said that she doesn't even like the term imposter. She won't allow that term to enter her head anymore now. So she'll just say something like, she's just having an off day. It'll all be good. Nothing's stopping her still. She's just having that off day. So imposter syndrome, she said, and I like that because I jumped on it. If you don't hear about this imposter syndrome, you might not necessarily think about it. But now I know it's there. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, I've got that. You
Yeah.
can label stuff, can't you, very easily?
Yes. Yeah. This isn't a real thing. This is just something I'm going through today.
Yeah.
And I'll reset. And I think it's understanding that pretty much everyone I ever speak to gets it at
Every,
times.
everyone. I'll tell you, everyone, business owners, I'm assuming we all suffer with that flutter, that anxiety, that
Mm.
nerves, excitement. No one talks about it openly, or not many do.
No, it's only not openly enough. You know, they might give a bit of advice. This is how it's like, yeah, you might have overcome it that day or how you try to overcome it, but I bet you still get it
Yeah.
because, you
Yeah.
know, we all do.
Yeah.
Um, and
I need to talk about it more. And I'm scared. It's silly because I'm saying it now and I've built up to saying it now.
yeah,
I said I think I made a post on LinkedIn a couple of months ago about, I've had a bit of anxiety this morning, just to bring it in slightly. And someone actually wrote as a comment, as if you suffer with that, because I come across.
yeah.
But the point being, the people that are the loudest probably suffer the most.
Yes, actually, that's really true. I once compared almost like, you know, my mental health or anxiety and that almost as like a pendulum. You know, everyone sees that the happy Matt, the motivated Matt, but that means actually when I am feeling a bit down, it's almost so far the other way. And I'm not saying I, you know, suffer as bad as some people, but
No.
you know, I do get imposter. I do get anxiety
Yeah.
about some of the
Yeah.
things I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, and I can fight through it, and I've learned to sort of, you know, be maybe a little bit kinder with myself and
Yep.
okay, take a bit of time, have a look at the evidence. What do I actually need to do here? You know, because quite often the thing I've got anxiety about isn't really that important.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
And I'm
true.
like, why am I even worried about that thing? You know,
Yeah.
it's bizarre,
Yeah.
but but that is, you know, our minds, and I think we
Yeah.
can all benefit from, you know, labeling it, being a little bit more open and just getting it out there so
Yeah.
that actually we can move forward. Because actually, as humans, we can all work together. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, that's one thing I've seen. People like working with other people.
Yeah.
And for years, we've all put on this big sort of mask of business owner, you know, smashing it, doing this. And it's almost like intimidating
Yeah.
to go and see people. And actually, you mentioned right at the start, you know, that perception people might have of accountants. And there might be, I don't want to speak to my accountant. I'm a bit intimidated and they're,
Yeah.
you know, judging me and things like that. But
Yeah.
actually, you're literally there breaking down the barriers saying,
Yeah.
we'll have a chat and
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah. Honestly, I say this to our clients. Please be open and honest. Even if we've done something wrong, you don't like something, talk to us. And then it is uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. But then how do we learn? I'd rather them
Yeah.
say it to us than moan to somebody else, than to somebody else, and somebody else. People like moaning about nothing as well, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's
makes them feel better, and I've learned that because I catch myself doing it.
yeah.
I can do it. So I know if I'm doing it, others are doing that. It's just, but I have to remind myself, I never complain on a Google review about anybody, and if they don't do what I thought they would, for example, I'd be kind. I think, because I'm a business owner myself or an employer myself,
Yeah.
it gives you that space to think, actually, I know how that feels, be a bit more kind. And I also offer feedback if I feel like they need it, because that's what I'd want.
Yeah, I think that's a really important step. I think, yeah, certainly SME sort of owners need to get into supporting each other, but in a way that's constructive. So what I mean by, you know, everyone says, I support other businesses. Actually, providing some feedback on how something didn't go right or wasn't what you expected, actually, that's the support we need. Because if you're trying to grow a business, I don't want to hear of something that's gone wrong 6 months later from someone moaning about us at a networking event.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather you just had that conversation, and it could be a breakdown between me and one of my team members, or it could be, you know, processes I've built. I mean, I'd take overall responsibility, but what is it? And talk to me, because actually that's the only way you can get better.
Exactly. And the thing is, I'm a big believer in what can we do better? And some people see that as a negative, because I've been told, why are you saying that to me? That's negative. And I'm like, is it? what could we do better? Why is that negative? Because we can always do something better.
Yeah.
And that is always stuck on my mind. I'm not going to change it because I'm a big believer in that. You can always do things better, especially if
Yes.
there's been a mistake made. Not we keep doing the same thing. What could we have done better?
Yeah. That is the way you grow. Actually,
Yeah,
when you ask for feedback, because we do, everyone's very polite, aren't they?
yeah,
Certainly, so to personally, they might say, "Oh, it was good. Yeah, no,
yeah,
great, really good." But to finish that with saying, "Okay, if we could do one thing slightly better, what would it
yeah,
be?"
yeah,
And that's where you'd start to uncover part
yeah,
of your process that's maybe a bit clunky. It might be something
yeah,
you've never considered, or it might be saying, "Oh, we used to do that, but we stopped doing it because no one ever mentioned it." Well,
yeah,
actually, people, because we don't always know what people appreciate
yeah.
unless we ask them.
Exactly that. So true.
Yeah, it's an interesting one of how do you grow a business, and actually, I must say, the only thing worse than getting no reviews is well, no, the only thing worse than getting sort of negative reviews is no reviews, because actually
Exactly.
you want those reviews,
Yeah,
even the negative ones, you can
yeah,
learn from them,
yeah. But not on Google.
but not on Google. No, and actually, I
No,
think just that is the thing. Stop hiding behind the keyboard. Have a
exactly.
conversation. But we
Yeah.
are all very, very scared of confrontation. I don't
I
know. I
think
don't know what it is.
people and even business owners or whoever looks after the what's the word, the complaint, get all defensive and then fall out back. I hate
Yeah.
that. I go, why would you just stop?
No.
And if someone's doing it within our business or what happened in the past, I can't stand it. Honestly, that's not how you deal with it, in my opinion. But that's the biggest thing for me is how you deal with customers and customer care, basically. That's a big factor for me.
Yeah. I mean, always say, take it professionally, not personally,
Yeah,
and try and grow it. But it is because, actually, I mean, my background's marketing, and probably one of the best marketing tools you can have is good customer service.
yeah,
Because if people like working with you, they will tell other people.
yeah.
And
So
that's stronger
it's so
than any
basic.
marketing message that you can put out.
Yeah, that is like the basic. It's funny, isn't it? 'Cause that is literally everyone says that, but whether they do it, I don't know.
No, no, maybe not.
It's
So
hard
what?
when you've got a team, as talk about growth,
Yeah,
the customer care will change. You've got to navigate that change. Don't let it put you off because not everyone will work like you do. That's a good thing. So that's part of like the change at Future Cloud. People won't hire people because they're scared of that. Oh, they only like me doing it. They only like me doing it. Well, yeah, they do because that's what you're sticking to.
yeah.
And you've got to nurture and move it in a better way.
Yeah, it's a real challenge, isn't it? Building up a team and getting them
Yeah.
to deliver the service that's, at the standard, but equally it will be done slightly differently because they're a different person, the way they communicate and things like that. But trying to, I guess, build that culture around, that pillar of this is how we work. But of
Yeah.
course, not telling you to change your complete personality and views,
Yeah.
but we work within these constraints, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a balance.
I know I've had to be brave to like make it clearer, I suppose. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff around that to talk about.
Yeah. Well, good. Moving on. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
you're in finance. So one thing that a lot of small business owners struggle with is sort of understanding numbers and their numbers and what's making a profit, what isn't. I mean, what advice would you give to people on that?
So the main thing for us while we've helped businesses is getting online is one thing. I assume everyone's online, but even yesterday we had a meeting with a guy that was using a book to do his accounts and everything was a
Wow.
mess. I know it is uncomfortable looking at your figures and going, oh shit, yeah, I've definitely spent more than what I've earned. They don't want to
Yeah.
see it. They bury their heads. I don't want to know about my
Mm.
tax. And then they get it last minute. Honestly, that if you're more brave with your figures to understand them, I know that's the boring stuff at first,
Mm.
the better for your business planning in the future. Don't be afraid, because I think ahead on a lot of things. And in fact, I'm probably really bad at thinking ahead and not being in the moment. So I'm
Right.
planning.
Okay. Yeah.
I already kind of know. I've got visualized when I'm 50 might be what it looks like. Do you know? But what's helped me navigate that as an accountant, as learning about businesses and how they run, is looking into the systems that we've got and looking at the figures and making it a habit. So, any successful business won't be looking at their figures 3 to 4 years later and still making a loss and still keep going.
No.
Surely they'll be doing something really different, or just thinking, actually, is this worth it?
Yeah, I guess, and having real-time info, sort of up-to-date figures, I guess that's the benefit of being online. It's okay looking at what happened last year, but, what happened last month or the last quarter, and what is potentially going to happen in the next quarter. You can see how many invoices are outstanding and things like that, and just start to work out, is this business moving forward? Or actually, are we going to be in a really sticky situation in 3 months' time?
Yeah, exactly that. Because what I've noticed as well, times change that quickly. So when we launched Future Cloud at the time, we were probably one of the first accountants going online wearing hoodies. Like, we were definitely one of the first to promote informal accounting, to do videos. Then more accountants jump on board, use the technology. If we're sharing it, more people are going to jump on it as well. It gets saturated. So you have to keep coming up with new ways and different ideas and look into things. And that's the same for any business that you're in. It's not going to keep growing and growing and growing without any different. You've got to keep adapting your internal systems, make it more profitable. So it's always never ended.
No, I think actually that's a really important part. Everyone thinks that they sort of work on their offer or their, what it is, their service, and think that's it, they're done and they can launch and go. It
Especially
will always
marketing.
be changing. It's literally constantly changing, and actually you will adapt, because if you don't adapt, you won't survive.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So when you grow a business as well, you have to change your internal systems. Then someone will throw an idea in that we've not thought of. And then we're like, oh yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. And I'm accepting of other people. I want people to be better than what I was at doing accounts. That's where they're going to drive it to be better, aren't they?
Yeah.
So again, it's new people coming up with ideas that are better. And you've got to make it exciting, is what I say, because business, you're in it for a long time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is we said journey, didn't we? Which is a bit cliche and things like that. But if you're committing yourself to building a business, you're in this for a while.
Yeah.
You might as well try and enjoy it. And you
enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. It's all the cliches, but it's because they become so true. Because if you don't, it's just turning up every day and you think, is this it? And I think we all almost strive for more in life anyway. I think entrepreneurs are very much of a, what can I do better? And I think that's what separates, a lot of entrepreneurs who really go for it, is they're constantly wanting to learn. They've got that growth mindset, because without it, eventually the business will just die.
Yeah, honestly, so with Future Cloud as well, how long I've been, so it's been going 5 years, and year 1, 2, and 3, like, not buzzing all the time, but I was like super excited. Maybe year 1 and 2, but then when you hire people and there's changes going on, it's just got hard. I think year 3 and 4 maybe were the hardest years, and then now I feel like I'm coming out. So I started Future Cloud with me and my business partner, and then recently I've just bought her out the business. And this is the first time I'm saying it actually on a podcast, to be fair. I haven't chatted about that much.
Is that now exciting for you?
Very exciting. Yes, very exciting. I didn't know how much I loved the vision of Future Cloud as much as I did when we had like the talk about separating sort of thing. God, it sounds like a divorce. I thought, no, I'm not getting rid of this business. I'm really passionate about it. I visualized it for years, even at the old firm, how it would look, how it would feel, how I want to make other people feel, how I want to grow a team of people that can be like have some confidence in their accounting abilities and not always worry about, some clients. The old stuffy way was the directors used to scare me, to go and see them. Nothing they said as such. That's just the power thing they all had. And I don't want that within our firm.
No. So I guess that's that whole sort of culture behind, and I guess your vision and mission. So, the whole business, it's almost separate to what you're actually delivering. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
the product is accountancy, but the
Yeah.
way you do it and the way you're growing your team and the way you're growing the business,
Yeah.
you've clearly got a vision for, this is our culture, this is our why, this is
Yeah.
how we do things.
Yeah.
And I guess your team, you're growing them to
Be like us.
they have to buy into that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And when you realise that someone bought into that, it's a massive, like, woof, that nearly ruined me. I won't lie. Like, I thought, oh shit, what have I done? Like, it's all right, me going out on social media, this, that, the other, but I actually had this massive, I don't know if this feels right anymore, but I sorted it out, and I realised what the answer was, and the answer was separate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that it seems scary at the time, but if it's the right way forward, and it does, it's that whole sort of, the mind, the heart, that just, you say almost like a divorce, but
Yeah.
it is, sometimes it's not that, it just, you both want different things, and actually just the way you go forward,
Yeah.
let's split and go our separate ways and wish everyone all the best.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's all good. It'll all be fine. And there's so much happening as well. So I've launched another business just to add it on. I like the idea of running a few businesses. I will always have. And the limiting factor was, well, what will it look like? Can you do it? And also, with a lot of people worry that they can't invest in other areas because they worry about the money side of things. And yes, if you had a pot of money, you could invest in marketing, accounting, and all this, that, the other. You don't necessarily need a lot though to start a business. So this business, I've put in money from Future Cloud, and I've got in with two other guys. It's a personal branding agency, basically. Yeah. So we help people be themselves online with confidence.
Yeah.
And that's something that's been in my mind for about 3 years, because I did it, and I see other people going, oh, I won't dare do video. I'm like, I know I would have dared do video 5 years ago, so I get it. But then now I've got a business that can help with that, which is great.
Yeah.
But so what we've done, we've hired somebody to be a brand manager. I've known of her years. I've been following her online for years as well. And I thought, God, she's the right fit because she does video content, can talk on. So anyway, we've done a bit of a risk. We've hired Kaz. She's been fantastic so far. And my fear is, what if it doesn't work out? Because once I've been navigating Future Cloud and this breakup with Charlotte, that was a thing to sort out. Then I thought, well, I can't put my efforts into the new business. I felt like pulling out. But if I did, let's say I lost 10 grand, what's the worst that's going to happen if I did, though? I gave it a go. And that's the fear of what people don't keep going on something that doesn't work for ages, but also be aware that you might have to invest for a year for it to then turn around.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. People are scared to give things a go, but actually, you only really win or you learn. So that's it.
Yeah.
And yes, money is important. Don't get me wrong. No one wants to lose money, but equally, just reframe it. If you lose 10 grand, okay, that learning experience was a £10,000 course that you did.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, and just reframe it and move on, because if you can't get it back, you can't get it back. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Exactly. We've spent thousands in Future Cloud that probably didn't work out. I know we did.
Yeah.
And but you just have to move forward and learn and try something else. So you have to be so resilient. But I'm really excited about. We've had some really good conversations recently, and it was only launched last month, so I need to get a grip. But
brilliant. Yeah,
and Kaz is off for a week holiday. She's gone to America, so she's off, and the business is fine. So it's all good, but it's scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have to do another podcast talking about personal brand, because that's another thing
I can definitely do that. Yeah.
Yes. Stay tuned for a future episode. But for now, just to finish off today, what's one tip you would give to someone who was thinking of starting a business?
One tip, thinking of starting a business. So I thought about it for a bit, probably a whole year before I did it. So think about how long you've been thinking.
Yeah.
Has it been a while? Because what they say is if you keep thinking about something, you just need to do it. You won't look, and you rarely regret it. You know, I don't think anyone's regretted leaving their job and trying something new. So I'd say if you're thinking about it, definitely do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Keep it simple. I love it.
Yeah.
Francesca, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all the best with Future Kello and the Future Branding Agency, which we will cover in another episode and talk about personal brand, because I think that's a really important topic. But yeah, thank you once again for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Balanced Ambition podcast. I genuinely hope the stories inspire you as much as they inspire me. If you found value in today's conversation, please share it with a friend. And remember, by subscribing, you won't miss an episode, and it would truly mean the world to me. Stay balanced, and I'll see you next time.